Today we're going to be taking a look at the OSD Audio XMAX11, an 11-channel beast of an amp. Let's take a look at why you might need something like this, and is it any good? For full disclosure, OSD did send this amplifier free for the purpose of this review, and they did not pay me for this review. That means I'm able to say whatever I want about this, good or bad. So why would you need an external amplifier when your AVR already has built-in amplification? Some AVRs have a pre-out mode where it disconnects the internal amplification, so you get a cleaner output via the RCAs. Or if you have the ability to use the XLRs, usually you get a cleaner signal with often more output from the balanced XLRs. So some AVRs have a dedicated preamp mode that cuts out the amplifiers directly from the signal, and so that allows it to use more power for the preamplifiers, and it also allows it to run cooler, which is very important because heat is what typically kills most electronics. One of the most important things is you get more power through all the channels. A lot of times you'll look at the AVR and it'll give you the power per channel, but that's with maybe only one channel driven, two channels driven, but not all of them driven. And when you have more power, that gives you better dynamics. So when something is quiet and then it jumps to something loud, you'll be able to hit those dynamic peaks more easily if you have more power. And speaking of power, for you power users, I'm running a sale for Magic Beans. I'll leave a link down below. And we're also running a sale for the Spatial Audio Calibration Toolkit. Take a look here and purchase one for yourself. So a lot of times people think that if you have bigger speakers, then that's why you need more external amplifiers. And that may be true. Sometimes it's actually the smaller speakers that have low sensitivity that need the most help, especially if they have high power handling. You actually need to just push a lot of power through them, in which case you need more power. And now that Dirac Art is available on more AVRs, what that does is it allows your other speakers to assist. It's actually making more use of all of your speakers playing more of the lower frequencies, and that's what needs the most power. So the more low frequencies it's demanding from all the speakers at once, the more power you're likely to need. And last, more power. Power is better. So none of us need 500 horsepower and 1,000 pounds of torque in our vehicles, but it's nice to have in case you need it. So let's take a look at what this specific amp has to offer. First of all, the price right now on Crutchfield is $2,070, which I think is very fair for an 11-channel amplifier. Let's quickly take a look at some of the specs here. This is a pretty large amplifier that measures approximately 17 inches wide by 7.25 inches high by 19.5 inches deep. And this thing was scary to bring up the stairs at 88.1 pounds. A lot of that weight, I assume, is because of the dual toroidal transformers that are in here. Those are able to supply it with lots of continuous power. And just in case, it stores a lot of that power in the big capacitors that you can see here. According to their specs, they have 3 4,000 microfarad capacitors and 8 2,000 microfarad. This is a Class AB design. They claim they can do 290 watts times 3 and 100 watts times 8 at 4 ohms at 0.1 total harmonic distortion with all channels driven. They claim a signal to noise ratio of 110 dB. This does have a 12 volt trigger to turn it on automatically, and it also has a 12 volt out in case you want to daisy chain it. As far as build quality, this thing is solid. If you look at the back here, you'll notice that it has 3 single boards and the rest of the boards are 2 channel. I prefer to use the 3 most powerful amplifiers for my LCR because those are the most demanding. And you'll notice that those 3 have single Tiffany style RCAs where the other ones don't. You'll see the balanced XLR here, the 12 volt trigger in and out that I mentioned earlier, as well as a voltage selector that allows you to go from 120 volts to 240 volts. So currently I'm using the OSD Audio 3-channel, 5-channel, and 7-channel amp in my home theater, and they've been great so far. Have no complaints. They put out all the power that I want. They sound clean. I'm very happy with those. So this amplifier gives me the same experience as I have with my other amps, all in one box with 11 channels. So one thing I look for in an amplifier is that it has no noise when nothing is playing, and this one is practically silent, so I'm extremely happy about that. For a sound that I do like is the turn on click. Once I turn on the AVR, it turns on all 11 channels here. It turns on my external amplifier for my subwoofers. It just sounds awesome. All the lights come on. It's kind of glorious. So I've never had any issues with the 6700H and its internal amplification, but I do like the peace of mind of knowing that I have more power on tap with the XMAX11. Now, I mentioned that it is nice to use, but it also looks pretty cool in my opinion. It has this screen right here with VU meters. You can choose between a blue display that reminds me of something, I don't know, kind of, the color's familiar. And then you have the option of changing it to yellow, which I like the blue one better. Or you can choose to have it off in case you don't want to see any display at all. There it is. And if you look closely at the VU meters, which dance when you're playing music, you'll notice that the top shows the wattage and the bottom shows the dB. You'll also notice LEDs on the front, which switch from red when they're off to blue when they're on. And also I've noticed that if you have an issue, maybe you touch some wires accidentally, it'll go into protection mode and those will turn back to red. All it takes is a quick restart and everything goes back to normal. So one thing to keep in mind is I keep reiterating that it is big, it is heavy, so once it's in a certain place, you probably won't want to move it. I know I don't. So when it comes to amplifiers, it's kind of tough because they either do their job or they don't, and this thing does its job, does it extremely well. I don't have the measurement gear to test all the specifics, but I do know that I'm happy with it. As far as the wattage per dollar, I think that at $2,079, this is a very good deal. For me, the sound is very clean. I'm happy with the dynamics I'm getting from it. I don't hear any noise. There are amplifiers that have load dependency. From my experience with their previous amplifiers, I didn't notice any of that, and I wouldn't expect any from this one either. So hopefully we'll see more tests to verify whether that's true or not. So overall, this is an 11-channel amp with tons of power. I think it looks great. It's built well. I think it'll last you a long time. They do have a 2-year warranty on Crutchfield. What can I say? I think this thing is pretty awesome. I would recommend it to anybody who's looking for external amplifiers. I've always recommended the OSD amplifiers just because my experience with their power amplifiers has always been good. Never any issues with them. So if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I upload new videos, and maybe check out these other videos that are related. Thanks for watching.